Cadence tut. We want a deck that is clumpy, thumb fans like so, for learning purposes at least. We're going to split into a Z grip, and you want all these packets to be less than 10 cards, between 5 and 10 cards when learning. Like this. This goes onto the pinky. What we're going to do is this bottom packet is going to go into a deep claw grip. This packet is going to go into a shallow claw grip, and the thumb's going to come to here. So that setup looks like this. And what I'm doing in the right hand to make that easier is I'm sliding the pinky a little bit. And you have to play with like how much you want this to be pivoted, if you want it there. There's a lot of different options, and sometimes it's just different depending on what feels right in the moment. So we're here, set these up, thumb comes here. Now we're gonna open our hand. Both hands actually. We're gonna open both claw packets as we hold this around to a 90-degree position, and then to the back end. So this is hidden from the viewer perspective. Like that. And you can play with when these open, when this completes. A lot of this move involves playing around with what happens when and the timing of certain things. So, like this. Now we split off into this inverted kind of interlock Z position. And we're going to pull these two packets together. And you'll notice that makes this claw packet want to come in too. And at the same time, this claw packet is going to not just pull in, it's going to wave around and have this kind of a motion almost, and then pull in. Now when you pull this in, you don't want it to go into the hand like that. You want to keep it displayed. So if we go like this, it compromises the packet a little bit. If we have a display here, it's not as prevalent, but if we're here, you can see it better. And that especially goes for when your hand is at this angle. It's more exaggerated. So, like this. Now, we push this forward just enough for this king to clear. It becomes three-dimensional, and then it goes back to being 2D when we finish this. So, like this. And the top packet does a similar motion. It comes out to here, and then we pull in, and everything lines up. And this move has a lot of this kind of gear opposition stuff going on. And you'll notice that that is, it's very deliberate. There's a lot of parts where you'll notice, oh, all these are moving together in a contrary motion kind of thing. So, get our packets, go here, split, bring this around. Now this square in the middle, you want this to either be a perfect square or a perfect rectangle. Because when I was first doing the move, I was also guilty of, you know, having this sometimes, and even Patrick Varnavas told me the move is lame, I hate this move, and he was like, it's very displeasing. It's very accurate, I agree with him. But when I do it and the square doesn't line up perfectly, he feels pain. So, don't make Patrick feel pain. Or anyone else that sees this, because if you want to hold this display and really punctuate it, you want it to be a display worth holding. So sometimes you'll get a rectangle. You have to play with what feels right, especially in a mirror. But when you hit it and it's a square, you'll feel it, and it feels very nice. So we're here. Now we have tension in this position. We're going to relax both hands. We're just going to open the hands. Just relax. And you'll notice that things want to kind of come down and follow through with this motion just by doing that. So don't think about it as a change in pressure and motion. Just think about it as relaxing the hands and then following through with it. We want this packet, if it is going to have trim, what I mean by that is if there is enough trim for the packet to go under, we want that to go under. We don't want it to hit the packet or go above. So this goes under the 6 of diamonds, even if it's a little bit, like a very small amount. So like this, here. And then also to ensure that that happens, I tuck this in a little bit into the hand, and then I follow through like that. We have this double pivot going. This packet, when we come down, is going to fold behind here and grab that 3 of diamonds. Now, it sets that up very quickly. Once we're here, we notice we have this opposition going. We also have this packet down here. We're going to use that to our advantage in an oppositional way as another visual element. So this is extending to here. And we're basically using the edge of this to follow the path, right? So like this. And bring this up as much as possible, and the more you push your wrist in, the flatter it's going to be and the easier it's going to be. So within reason, you want the wrist to be in, because sometimes even I'll do it and the wrist is out and it becomes very three-dimensional, and it works, but it's not ideal. And that is one design flaw I think I have with this move, is the wrist has to go into that one unrelaxed position for a moment. But if you position your body right, it's not really that bad. So here, this comes under, and we place that immediately, and this will feel natural once you get it down. So, and even when you practice it, that should feel good. So this isn't on the middle either, it's just on the edge. It's going around the middle almost. It's not like you're holding it as a pivot, because then you lose control of the claw packet. So here, like so, like that. This comes under. If you don't have a hitchhiker thumb like me, you might have to adjust the way that you do it a little bit. There's a few points in this move where I am going to have my thumb as a platform, but you can do it if you just open the hand more. So you have to change the position a little bit by opening the hand more, but experiment with it, and it's something that I will continue to experiment with too. It's the difference of the bent thumb versus the open hand. For this kind of a thing, it is helpful, but you might just have to go to there, and you get the same visual. So do it as far as you can. If your thumb doesn't bend like that, just go as far as you can. And yeah. So here. So here. 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 And you notice that sets up very quickly. Now, these come down, and I like to overextend this sometimes too, if I can. I find it adds more spin to just more energy to the move. Now, I bring this packet up, this whole hand up, and this is still on the finger, and by this point it's kind of nudged its way under the middle finger a little bit. So now this starts to come up, it releases from the first finger, the pinky grabs it, and the pinky pulls it onto the left first finger. And you want that to happen at about the middle section of the deck, maybe a little bit under, because this is going to pull around. Both the hands move and this hand continues to move, the left hand, until it lines up with that crotch at an angle, and then it pushes in. So the first finger just clicks. And once you feel that click, you'll know that it's locked in. Everything then collapses as you pull the hands down. And what you do when you collapse is this ace of clubs comes to the thumb, you square this, the first finger squares that 10, and the jack of hearts packet gets squared up against your wrist. So if these packets get messy, which they likely will a lot of the time, you have a moment where you can square everything, which is something that I'm very proud of about the design of this move, is it's kind of, there's a moment where it fixes itself, and you'll notice a lot of buff moves do this as well, where while they're doing the move, like Pandora or something, the move will square itself up. Pandora, for example, if this packet is messy, while Dan peels it, this packet's messy, the thumb squares with a Tenkai as it repositions. So details like that I really love about certain move design, when gravity or the hands have a pocket that can square the move. So here, this comes up and contacts, this pulls around until it clicks. You'll feel a click between the middle and ring. Everything comes in and squares. Now once we square everything, the second we feel confident that we can flail these without them spreading apart, we drop everything, and we drop the hands down like this. And we want these to be as down there as possible, right? We don't want a weak flap. When you get comfortable with it, you want it to be like that. And we do this by basically turning the hands to the back of each other. At the same time, this moves in for a moment, which adds a lot of visual when every packet is doing something or everything is breathing a little bit. Right, not everything has to breathe the same amount, but it's better than having one static packet. So like this. Down. And this comes off of this for a moment, but it's still supporting it, the first finger on the two of diamonds. Now we bring everything back up and we square it again if it needs to be squared. And you can flap that tons of different ways. You can flap it however you want. Sometimes for kids or for people in general, I'll just do it like a bird or a jellyfish. You make it look however you want. So from here, we open this hand preemptively, bring this up, and this does a packet twirl into that claw grip. As we land here, we hit this point. Now both hands open. I'm using my thumb platform here. If you can't use the thumb platform, just open the hand more and do it that way. I just do this, but I will continue to play with the different options because I'm not sure that's what's best. Visually, I think for the hands, it's more natural not to have that, but because I can do that, it's just natural for me, so I need to really investigate that and play with it. And I might change how I do it, but my thumbs also naturally do this, so you can do it like this as well. It's just going to be a slightly different shape. It's going to be farther over instead of on top like this. You can even do it on the tip of the thumb if you want. So, that being said, we now open both packets and we kill this wrist enough just for this to come under. We're using this to pivot it, right? Because this packet has a lot of influence on that queen. Now we squeeze these two hands together. This wraps around this hand, this wraps around this hand. And what all I'm doing is splitting the packet here between the fingers, right? The pinky's down here and the bottom of the thumb. Now we open again. And we tilt this back because we don't want this packet to be seen like this. It's kind of hidden almost, and it makes a nice structural look. Now this opens, this opens. My thumb's doing the platform once again, but if you can't do that, just open. Now, this packet comes to there as this packet folds down and gets grabbed by the thumb. And while you do that, it's going to toss that packet down. And that packet is going to land there. Sometimes it wants to land there. Ideally, it's usually going to land there, and it feels very good when it lands there, so. Like this. Flap. And breathe as much life into this move as you want. You can do a lot with this. So, here. Like that. You can square this up a little bit if you need to. You come here. Open. And that's gonna fall to there. So we close this as we swing this around. The first finger here pulls up like that, and we reposition this into a claw as that happens. So this is open like that, pretty immediately, which is it's a nice way to transfer things. So like this. Flap. Again, even on the flap, I'm using my thumb platform, but you can get away with not doing it as well. You just have to do what feels good for you. Just make sure that you're not compromising the motion of the packets, and you always want your hands to be as relaxed as possible while still maintaining control, which is something that's hard to remember with cardistry because cards are hard to hold on to. So here, this folds back, we open, grab, everything opens in this big straight line of a display. That falls to there. First finger's here at this point on the edge, but it comes back to there. We do this. Both packets are going to open, like so. This packet continues to open a little bit more as this starts to swing through. This gets placed on the left hand in the palm, and this influence on that packet continues as we swing this around to a charlier. This comes through, that gets dumped there, and then this packet follows a cycle to there. Now you could also twist it like that, but there's more motion if you go around all the way. So you can practice this on the short edge too. This is something I just love doing, right? Feels great. So that's the general form of the move. Here, first display, open, relax, this comes through, this resets. You do get the opposition, this comes down, this rotates, clicks into there, you do a flap. See there, it wanted to slip out a little bit, but I regained control. This comes here, we open, come up, we drop. Now if you want to from here, you could even do the move again. Sometimes I do the move differently again for people, and because you already did it once, it's almost like these claw packets are set up in a better position for the move. It feels different, but you can do it running and it will feel better as you repeat it, until you run out of cards, obviously. So like this, that falls. When you're doing it slow, it will want to stick to your hands a little bit, but when you have it with the momentum and you're relaxed, it will just come out, the whole packet. This comes through, we go like this, and we close. And one more note for the closer, and this goes for the whole move as well. There's always places where you can change one little thing and see what feels good for you. So I've also experimented with holding the claw here when I close it, and it gets a different shape, right? There's different pathways you can take, and it's more of like a combo move that's just attached. And a dance, it's not like a specific set of choreography and the mechanics have to be perfect. You can really do whatever you want with it. You can start it with the thumb here, see what feels good, what feels different. And that's something that I continue to do too. And a year from now, the move will probably look very different and even have different modular sections that I perform relative to now. So keep that in mind. And if something feels good, I'd say follow it after learning the full mechanics of the move.